Ladies and gentlemen, let us pause for a moment and acknowledge a force that has changed the world, not with noise, not with armies, but with quiet strength, relentless courage, and unwavering belief. I am speaking of a woman who fights alone. She is not defined by her circumstances. She is defined by her will. She doesn't wait for rescue. She becomes her own savior. And like Napoleon Hill once said, every adversity, every failure, every heartache carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. She plants that seed, she waters it, and she grows a life that no one believed she could. Before we begin, I invite you to take a moment not just to watch, but to act with intention. If this message resonates with your spirit, if you believe in growth, in courage, in rising above life's challenges, then don't just listen, be part of something greater. Like this video not for me, but as a signal to the universe that you're ready to step into your power. Subscribe, because greatness is not built in a day, and this is a journey we walk together. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment that could spark your next breakthrough. Share this message. Someone you know is silently fighting a battle. This could be the light they've been waiting for. Success begins with a single decision. Make yours now. Let's begin. Every great achievement in this world begins with one invisible but unstoppable force: desire. But not just any desire, a burning desire. A fire so intense it consumes doubt, melts fear, and forges a vision into reality. A woman who fights alone does not simply wish for change, she demands it. She does not wait for opportunity to knock, she builds the door, frames it with faith, and opens it with courage. Her desire is not fleeting or optional. It is a necessity, like the air she breathes. This kind of desire is not born in comfort. It rises from struggle, from long nights when no one claps, from silent tears behind strong eyes, from the aching loneliness of believing in something no one else can see. But she holds on to her dream like it's the only thing keeping her alive, because, in a way, it is. When the world tells her she's too small, too late, or too alone, she doesn't shrink. She stares back with the fire in her eyes and thinks, "Watch me." Because deep within her is a knowing, not a hope, but a knowing that her desire is not random. It was planted in her heart for a reason. It is her purpose-seeking expression. She writes down her goals not as fantasies, but as facts in progress. She doesn't just want to survive, she wants to thrive, to conquer, to leave a mark so bold that generations after her feel the heat of her passion. Her desire burns even when she's exhausted. It whispers, "Keep going," when everything says, "Give up." And she does, she keeps going, because that fire, that burning desire, is stronger than any excuse, louder than any fear, and more real than any obstacle. Desire is not just the starting point. It is the engine, the fuel, and the compass. And when it burns bright enough, the world bends in its direction. There is a power greater than fear, stronger than pain, and deeper than doubt, and that power is faith. Not just faith in some distant outcome, not blind hope in luck or chance, but faith in herself. A woman who fights alone must believe in herself long before the world ever does. She must see light while standing in the dark. She must speak victory while surrounded by silence. She must carry the unshakable truth that she was born with worth, born with power, and born with a purpose, even if no one else can see it. This kind of faith isn't handed to her. It's built in quiet moments when no applause is heard, in hard choices that test her strength, in battles fought behind closed doors. And every time she chooses to rise instead of retreat, to try again instead of quit, that faith grows stronger like steel forged in fire. People may call her stubborn, unrealistic, even foolish, because she dares to believe in something they've never known, herself. But what they don't see is that her belief is not based on proof, it creates the proof. Her faith becomes her fuel, her armor, her secret weapon. She speaks to herself differently, not with doubt, but with declarations. I am capable. I am enough. I am becoming the woman I was always meant to be. And though the journey is hard and the path is often lonely, her faith keeps her walking head held high, shoulders back, eyes locked on what's ahead. Even when life shakes her confidence, she does not crumble because her faith is rooted in more than appearance, more than validation, more than circumstance. It's rooted in truth, the truth that she has everything she needs already within her. And one day, when the world finally sees her shine, they will say she was lucky, but they'll never know that it wasn't luck. It was faith planted, nurtured, and fiercely protected in the garden of her soul. She believed when it was hardest to believe, and because of that, she became unstoppable. Persistence is the difference between a dream that fades and a destiny fulfilled. It is the quiet, unglamorous, often painful decision to keep going when everything says stop. And for a woman who fights alone, persistence isn't just an option, it's a survival skill. She knows what it feels like to be overlooked, underestimated, and misunderstood. She has heard the word no more times than she can count. Doors have closed, support has vanished, promises have been broken, but still she moves forward, not because the road is easy, but because the vision is worth it. She does not give up at the first failure, nor the second, nor the 10th. Because she understands what most never do, that failure is not defeat. It is feedback. It is the universe sharpening her edge, molding her strength, testing the seriousness of her commitment. Most people stop when it hurts. She keeps going because it hurts. She doesn't seek comfort, she seeks growth. And she knows that true growth comes only through challenge, through resistance, through the relentless pursuit of something greater. Persistence is not loud, it doesn't brag, it doesn't need to be seen. It simply shows up again and again and again. She wakes up early when it would be easier to sleep. She works in silence while others rest. She holds the vision of her future so clearly in her mind that quitting no longer feels like an option, it feels like betrayal. Betrayal of everything she's already sacrificed, every step she's already taken, every tear she's already cried. And the beauty of persistence is this: it compounds. One small act, one more try, one more day, it adds up. Progress is invisible until it's undeniable, and one day, everything she's been building in silence will rise like a wave, unstoppable, unbreakable, undeniable. The world may not understand her fight. It may never know the nights she almost gave up, the days she walked alone, the pressure she carried quietly, but the results will speak for her. Because while others waited for the perfect moment, she kept going. While others needed permission, she pushed forward. And while others gave up at the first sign of struggle, she persisted against all odds, against every reason to stop. And that is why she will win. There is a battlefield more powerful than any war zone, and it exists within the mind. For a woman who fights alone, her greatest enemy is not out there in the world, it is the voice within. And her greatest victory begins the moment she decides to master that voice. The mind can be a garden or a prison. It can build you or break you. It can convince you to rise, or it can trap you in fear. That's why she trains her mind like a warrior trains her body. She knows that if she doesn't take control of her thoughts, they will take control of her. The world can throw challenges at her. Life can bring hardship, betrayal, and delay, but no matter how heavy the burden, her mind must remain unshaken, because if she can hold steady in her thoughts, then nothing and no one can defeat her. Mastering the mind means refusing to dwell in fear. It means interrupting self, doubt, and replacing it with truth. It means recognizing that thoughts are not facts, they are choices, and she chooses thoughts that serve her purpose, not sabotage it. She understands that negativity is a virus, one that spreads quietly through comparison, criticism, and fear, but she is no longer available for mental poison. She feeds her mind what she wants her life to become: gratitude, strength, faith, clarity. Because she knows the mind responds to repetition, and what she repeats, she becomes. She does not allow her past to define her. She does not allow other people's voices to narrate her future. She is the author now. And with every decision, every affirmation, every act of discipline, she takes back the pen, even when anxiety whispers lies, even when fear tries to paralyze her, even when the noise outside gets loud. She goes inward and finds calm. She silences the storm by remembering who she is and why she started. She rewrites the script, and it's not always easy. Some days, the weight of her own thoughts feels like too much. But she does the work anyway. She journals, she prays, she meditates, she walks, she breathes, she recenters, because she knows that the mind is a tool, and when trained, it becomes her greatest ally. She is no longer ruled by emotion. She uses it as fuel. She is no longer derailed by doubt. She turns it into determination. She is no longer afraid of silence. She meets herself there and emerges stronger every time. This is what makes her dangerous. She doesn't just dream, she disciplines her mind to match her dreams. And once the mind is mastered, everything else follows, because the one who commands her thoughts commands her destiny. There is no force more magnetic, more focused, more unstoppable than a woman who knows exactly why she wakes up in the morning. While many wander through life reacting, adjusting, chasing shadows of goals they never truly defined, she moves with purpose. Every step, every breath, every choice intentional. She is not guessing, she is deciding, because she understands a timeless truth, that success belongs to the woman who sets her sights on something greater than herself and refuses to look away. Definite purpose is not a casual wish. It is not a fleeting desire scribbled in a notebook and forgotten when things get hard. It is a fire that burns even when the world grows cold. It is the voice inside her soul that whispers, "This is who you are. This is what you were born for." She doesn't ask for permission to pursue it. She doesn't shrink it down to make others comfortable. Her purpose is non-negotiable. It fuels her in moments of doubt. It lifts her when no one else will. It clarifies her path when everything around her feels like chaos. While others wake up and drift, she wakes up and drives. While others get lost in distractions, she returns to her mission. Her calendar reflects her vision. Her habits protect her dream. Her circle is built not on comfort, but on alignment. And no, it's not always glamorous. Purpose isn't always pretty. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's exhausting. But she endures because she knows the difference between pressure and pain. Pressure shapes diamonds, pain builds muscle, and purpose makes it all worth it. This woman doesn't chase a million things, she focuses on one thing with clarity and conviction. She doesn't try to be everything to everyone, she becomes exactly who she needs to be to fulfill her mission. She knows that life will test her, that setbacks will come, but she doesn't fall apart because her purpose is bigger than her problems. She sees past the moment. She's thinking in decades. She's not chasing applause. She's building impact, and when people ask her how she stayed so strong, how she kept going through the storms, how she built something out of nothing, she will smile, because she'll know the secret was never in luck or timing. It was in clarity, it was in commitment, it was in her definite purpose held tightly, pursued boldly, and never ever abandoned, because the woman with a purpose cannot be stopped. She might bend, but she will not break. She might fall, but she will not fade. She is not just existing, she is becoming, and when purpose leads, success always follows. A woman who fights alone is never truly alone. She is powered by every woman who came before her, and she inspires every woman who will come after. So to every woman standing on her own, building her life brick by brick, know this: you are not weak, you are not behind, you are not invisible, you are a warrior. You are a visionary, and most of all, you are unstoppable. Listen, what the mind of man or woman can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And you, my dear fighter, are already halfway there. Thank you.